Up everybody, welcome to episode 18 of the Sup. It's me, James, with your boy Chase. What's good, homie?
What's up? It's me, your boy. Episode 18. Here with our boy, Brayden.
What's up?
Braden Abbott. Sup, brother. We apologize that we couldn't get you one of these really cool designs right here. Our designer didn't want to embarrass you, so
Okay.
Dude, we look handsome. James is the only one that doesn't like this. I love this so much. So thank you, Andrea and creative team for
you don't know the South African boys. The South African boys saw this on my Instagram, and I am in trouble. That's all I'm saying. I am in trouble. All right, so guys, welcome to another edition. Second time visitor to the Sup, of course, Braden Abbott is the CEO of OpenBlocks AI, which is a very, very smart and strategic name. Of course, those that are searching for OpenAI will stumble across OpenBlocks AI.
That's right.
Of course, Blockpour is what they were recently known as, acquired by Supra. And OpenBlocks are going to be instrumental in AI agents coming to Supra. So we wanted to chat a bit further about AI functionality in Web3. Brayden, welcome to the show, man. How's things been going since we last chatted?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I'm happy to be back. It's just been a busy last couple of weeks. There was obviously some conferences that had went on in between as well in Dubai. And just been busy working on a lot of the stuff with Supra and OpenBlocks. So it's been good.
Also, just a quick mention before you jump in, Chase, to our news. Quick mention that actually, if you're in India, then look out for CoinDCX. Supra will be listed there today. So that was actually big news that the script writer, yours truly, missed.
It's listed actually, script writer.
Oh. Napoon put it in. What a man!
It's listed. I think they're the second largest exchange in India. They're big, man.
They are huge, bro. So big news really today, this Wednesday. Yeah, man.
Yep, dope. Okay, but let's before we go any further, let's just run through what we usually do at the beginning of these episodes. A little bit of tech and industry news. If you aren't up to date, we help you do so. It's hard to get caught up in the day to day, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Web3 daily. It happens too fast. So we like to just grab a couple big points to just point out for you and talk about them in a little bit. So first up is tech news. CrowdStrike cuts 5% of its workforce, attributing to AI efficiencies, which is, again, kind of what we're going to be discussing today. So CrowdStrike, the popular cybersecurity firm, is cutting 5% of its workforce, 500 employees, attributing to the decision to AI-driven efficiencies in sales, recruiting, and customer success. This move reflects broader industry trends where AI is reshaping job roles, which I think we're seeing this rapidly happening, especially in the creative sector of things. So, Brayden, as someone you deal with AI day to day, day in and day out. It's your bread and butter. As someone getting closer to AI with OpenBlocks AI, do you foresee serious shifts in careers for the global workforce? And are our jobs safe? What jobs are safe? Because I need to know, do I need to start applying other places at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I know Microsoft also, I think they just announced cuts as well. I don't know if it was
No way.
I think pretty big cuts, and they cited the same things. And they also added like reduced error rates, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't have like a really good take on this. I'd say I think lowering labor costs and reducing error rates, making businesses more efficient, hopefully it's a net positive for consumers of these products and of these goods. Whether or not they lower prices of their items, I'm not sure. But hopefully in the long term, this is a net positive, at least for consumers. On the job side, I do think that there's going to be a pretty big shift, and we're already starting to see it now with obviously news like this in Microsoft. I think it's going to continue. As far as which jobs are safe, I mean, it really depends on what industry you're in and how much they're adopting AI. I know like with software engineering, software development, there's specific AI companies that are specializing in that, like things like Cursor that allow people to just like quickly code up an app or quickly code up a wireframe. These are a lot of things that like junior developers or interns would do. But it's kind of a weird spot because as a company, you want to hire junior engineers to eventually shape them into right? You know, a senior engineer, and I don't think senior engineers will be replaced as much. It just depends on how these companies plan on handling, you know, like internal recruitment practices. A lot of these AI tools can already do a lot of junior tasks. It's just, you know, kind of dependent on what their thoughts are for this stuff. So I don't know which jobs are safe or not safe. I think that there's going to be a lot of changes for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk what you said, like high level engineers, senior engineers. Like, so let's discuss where ChatGPT or these AI agents were 6 months ago, a year ago. They're doing things that we didn't think would be possible in this amount of time. So do you think it's possible with the amount of data that we're feeding these applications on a day-to-day basis, or these agents, forgive me, that they will be able to ever do senior level development?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I think there's caveats. It's the same kind of argument with lawyers, right? It's like a lot of ChatGPT is like, yes, can they act as a lawyer? Yes, until something goes wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You talk to a lawyer, and you need to pay them a lot of money to fix the problems, right?
Yes.
I think it's the same thing in software engineering, where even with Cursor now, like, yes, it can develop very simple applications, and that will grow. But at some point, if things break or if things don't behave properly, you can't just keep going to the agent for every single thing. Like, at some point, you're scaling to millions of users. There's just things that you'll have to do with a team, like physical infrastructure or dealing with infrastructure. And so I would say it's similar to the lawyer argument, where yes, I'm sure a lot of coding will eventually be capable of being done by AI, but I don't think it should be fully reliant on that. I don't think it ever will. It just depends on, you know, the roles and positions in these companies, but I don't think it will ever take over like all engineering or all legal.
Yeah.
Like paralegal stuff, maybe like small things,
Right.
but it's like, it's just you know, at some point you still need people in these positions to be managing it and have experience in that field.
Yeah, absolutely. And the places where I think this is where I'm seeing it the most, like people being hurt by ChatGPT or Grok or whatever AI agent you want to talk about here, just replace said word, is the artists and creatives, right? Especially people that have spent their whole lives tailoring this art style or tailoring how they've done art. I can legitimately go and create a work of art in 2 minutes, right? I can go on ChatGPT. I can even pick the art style. I can put characters in there. Hey, keep this same exact art style. Stay as close as possible to this art style, but turn me into this image. Like, that's incredible that we're already at the point to where we are now. And you'll see it on Twitter when people post like these Ghibli AI renditions. People are like, you shouldn't be using those. Like, you're killing the artist here. And it's like, I see both sides of the coin. But in my perspective of the whole hurting creators or creatives, it's like this almost helps them streamline a process, in my opinion. It's like if you have an idea in your head, it's a lot harder to envision that idea without drawing it, right? So like, okay, so now it's saving you the 10 hours of drawing an idea when you could just get a quick sketch of what the idea is and then do it yourself. So I see both sides of the coin, but I do think that the places that are going to be hurt the most are, like you said, the very early jobs, whether it be development, whether it be artist, and things of that nature. Sorry to go on a little tangent there, but this is all really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I even want to make a comment. Like, obviously, writing this script every week, I've done it 18 times now. I would obviously go to Grok, ChatGPT, ask for questions, you know, and then refine them. But literally, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've actually found it easier just to open Google Docs and just type out my own questions. You know, so there's certainly that aspect of it starts to spew out the same stuff that just doesn't give you what you want. But what I'm curious about, Braden, is you're a CEO of a company. I mean, OpenBlocks, I would imagine, isn't a huge team, small startup team, but you know, let's say you scale your 20, 30 people. Honestly, is there an aspect of actually, when I hire people, I want to hire real, tangible people that I can interact with, connect with, and I know that I'm actually providing for them? Or is it purely bottom line? And that's what a lot of these companies seem to be doing. It's just pure bottom line. Is there an aspect of there's a human side to this? I want to support families when I bring talent into my workforce.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things here, right? Like, I think, I mean, just going off topic for a second. I mean, I know that there's even things like vibe coding, right? Where if you hire at certain companies, they'll literally say no vibe coders, which is basically people that are very good at prompting AI to help them code. And so there's been policies at some companies that actually discourage that or don't allow it. When it comes to myself for hiring people, it's obviously, if you're running a company, you have a responsibility to shareholders of the company. You have a responsibility as a director of the company to act in the company's best interest. And so obviously, as a startup, you're usually always tight for cash, right? You're usually trying to find product market fit. You're trying to scale. You're usually taking in money from VCs. And so I think it's really just trying to make the most efficient business you can build to provide the most value to consumers, right? And so if there's certain tasks that can be done by AI, then why not do them by AI, and deliver a better product to your consumer? So I don't think the human aspect per se is a huge factor. I'd say the biggest thing is really just how can we provide the most value to the users, to ultimately scale our company, right? If it's done through humans, great. If it's not, then it would be done through AI, or other means.
Wow, and that's an interesting take. Also, I actually want to make a prediction. As you're speaking, I was reminded about the stuff you're talking about, the paralegal aspect. I'm going to make a prediction, which hopefully gets noted by our social media team so that they cut this for the future. But we are going to see the first AI sued by a company or an individual. That is coming. We're going to see litigation against an AI for creating something incorrect, erroneous, that caused damage. So prediction made right here. It's coming. Okay, so let's continue with the tech news. And within the AI theme, the big partnerships for XAI, of course, Elon Musk's XAI. They've teamed up with Palantir Technologies and TWG Global to integrate AI models. That obviously includes the Grok family and Colossus supercomputer. They're going to be integrating them into their financial services, and the collab aims to capitalize on growing AI demand in the sector. But with that announcement came the announcement that XAI is significantly expanding its Colossus supercomputer. So the Colossus supercomputer is currently the world's largest AI training cluster, which is hard to believe considering ChatGPT is so much better than Grok. But they have 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs that's based in Memphis, Tennessee. And they've announced that they're scaling that to get this 1 million GPUs, and they're creating the world's largest AI training system. So it's an ambitious project driven obviously by Musk's vision to accelerate what he says is human scientific discovery. It's a multi-billion-dollar investment, 1.2 million square foot facility. I mean, it's just crazy numbers. The expansion leverages NVIDIA's upcoming Blackwell architecture, obviously addresses challenges like power supply, cooling, and with XAI collaborating with NVIDIA, they're able to optimize performance. So it means that XAI can now compete with the likes of Microsoft and OpenAI. And Brayden, coming back to you, with this amount of GPUs at a single facility, I mean, 1 million GPUs is just, it's mind-bending. One can only imagine how many there are at the likes of OpenAI, Microsoft, Google's Gemini. Are we going to run out of energy and perhaps even water in certain areas where these data centers are stored? And what is the solution, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair question. I think on the energy side, no, I don't think we'll ever run out of energy. I mean, even right now, like I think all AI uses like a fraction of the world's energy. I think it's a lot lower probably than people think, even after reading, articles like this where it sounds very bad. And it is a lot of energy, obviously, right? I think over time, as technology advances, NVIDIA chips advance, they become more efficient, right? They require less power to deliver the same amount of compute. And so I think over time, as technology scales, the power usage will scale down as well. And so I don't think energy consumption will go up linearly with AI as it keeps growing. I think technology will eventually go at a pace that slows it down. I think the other side of it as well is it's not necessarily the AI company that has the most compute that will win. I think that there's going to be I think a lot of AI agents will be specializations, right? Not like general purpose. You have general purpose AI like Grok or like ChatGPT, But I think a lot of the future AI initiatives will be focused on specific industries or specific sectors where they could be the best in that area, but they don't have to have as much compute because they're not trying to capture every single data point. They're only trying to build a very specialized version of a subset of data. So I think that's where a lot of direction will go, and that's where more value would come anyways from these companies. So I don't think we're going to get into a position where there's tons of companies trying to build general purpose AI chatbots like Grok and like OpenAI. I think eventually it's just going to be more specialized agents that will come.
Man, that's a really interesting point. It makes me think a little bit in a way that I haven't thought about, like what will be capable or what people are going to be building off of, I guess the capability. What are the capabilities moving forward off of something like this? I guess is what I'm trying to get at, which is just incredible to
and it's scary like that. That's
what I mean. Like, I didn't want to say I'm scared, but it's pretty terrifying.
Like, I don't know what Brayden thinks. I mean, you and I are in marketing. Brayden's obviously business management. I would imagine you have engineering skills. For just for me as a marketer, it's scary because I can imagine that in 5 years' time, AI can do everything that I can do. And that is frightening.
AI will never be as handsome as you. And I never want you to forget that. Okay.
But, but that's really interesting because I think that's where I think the value is going to lie, because humans are the ones that trade value. I think that's where the value is going to lie is we're going to get back to IRL. We're going to get back to in-person events, in-person art, because we're going to want to see a piece of art created by someone's hand, by a person's own skill. That's my opinion. But I don't know, Braden, do you feel like actually this is something to fear for us as people that are trying to build value for the economy?
I mean, I have a more irrational fear, and my irrational fear is human intelligence rapidly going down when people.
Dude, yes, I talk on perfect point.
I'm curious if there's going to be research coming out, or if there already is. Like, that's actually what I'm scared of, is what it means for like the human race. Like, if you could just look up everything and you could do everything and you can just type in a question, you don't even need to read books. You could just ask for summaries of this stuff. And even high school students or like college students, like there's so many things that are being done already with this. That's my concern more than anything else.
Yeah, well, think about, and I'm so glad you said that. So think about the COVID generation, and people will talk about this, like those kids that were born that were supposed to be in, let's say, kindergarten or first grade, where you're learning like super valuable skills in school, reading, numbers, math, subtraction, all these very necessary things you use for the rest of your life. Those kids that were out of school for 2 full years, there's studies going on now that's like, oh, they're 2 years behind. Even though they're in 4th grade now, they're actually reading at a second grade level. They're doing math at a second grade level. And there's a whole generation that will legitimately be hindered due to not being in school, to having personal conversations with other children and teachers for 2 years. Yeah. So this also brings me to the thought of, okay, think about me in high school. I'm 35 years old. When I was writing research papers in even college, I could Google stuff, but I still had to do the research. I still had to like go through and recite my sources and things like that. I could legitimately write a resource paper and have all the sightings all put in within 10 minutes if I wanted to. And I could tailor it to where it's not recognizable by other AI agents to say it's written by AI. And it's like, so I've not learned anything about the research that I've done. And then the paper that I wrote the research on, I'll never retain that information whatsoever. So that class that I've taken is now kaput. All that money I spent in college means nothing to me. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I think that's a huge, huge thing that we're going to have an issue with. We're going to get kids that come out of high school and college that have never done any research ever. And they've had ChatGPT run their whole lives and do every project for them forever. And that's a terrifying thought. I'm more scared that you brought that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with homework, right? Like traditionally in school doing homework, like you're sitting down and doing the work. I mean, now if you have homework, you could just look every single thing up. Like if it's a book, if it's anything, you could just type it in and do your homework in 5 minutes, right? So it's, I mean, it's a bit terrifying, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. All right, well, let me think about this. Let's move it on. Let's a little bit of ecosystem news. So SupraNova testnet hit 10,000 plus bridgeless cross-chains transactions. I made a post about this a couple of days ago. Super exciting. SupraNova launched on Supra's public testnet on April 29th and is the world's first bridgeless cross-chain cross-chain interoperable protocol, enabling direct, trustless layer 1 to layer 1 communication without relays, wrappers, or third-party multi-sigs. This is big news. I played with the testnet a little bit. If you have not, then I suggest you go do so. But yeah, just this week, the testnet successfully completed over 10,000 bridgeless cross-chain transactions, with a notable milestone of 2,000 transactions highlighted on Thursday last week. So people are starting to use a little bit more. Brayden, I have a question for you, kind of discussing this. Is OpenBlocks currently reading any of the data from Supra's test networks?
Yeah, we do. We don't post, like, we don't have public endpoints or show it publicly, but we do capture testnet data mainly for testing our indexers. So nothing on our website or on our applications, but we do use it. Yeah.
Cool. It's super interesting. Good to hear.
Right. Finally, there's one more ecosystem news item after this, actually, but just a reminder real quick about loading up on Supra Yield. If you hold Supra, you should be happy, depending on when you purchased Supra, but I'm NFA not allowed to talk about those things. But Solido's cash register is going to give you 15% APR fixed yield on your Supra. So if you hold Supra and you want to add to your bag, you can get 15% APR. In return, you will get cash. When I say cash, I'm not talking about physical cash. I'm talking about the cash tag cash from Solido, and that will keep you liquid within the ecosystem. In addition to that, you will get boosted Solido points. Head on over to go.supra.com/cash register. All the info's there. Make sure your star key wallet is connected, and you can get going and earn that 15% APR. That's go.supra.com/cash register. Chase, what else you got for us, bro?
What to do? Oh, so I'm very proud of this. And if you follow me on X, I've been hinting at it for a while now. But we have been building out the Order of Supra, which goes live today. This is a gamified initiative that we're putting for our community within our Discord. And our super community is no longer just a place to chat within Discord. It's now a launch pad into an evolving world of creativity, collaboration, rewards. We've now transformed our Discord roles into a fully gamified identity system. So essentially, now when you join our Discord, you will have to choose your faction, declare your class, and you will be able to start earning zips within our Discord for doing quests, side quests, playing games, engaging with content like maybe the SUP and things of that nature. But yeah, there's 4 factions. There's 3 classes in each faction. So it's going to be super unique and kind of it really puts an identity to everybody within our Discord. The idea is we really want this to be a place of a community building. We're building an incredible ecosystem, and we want people to come and show who they are, what they're about, and what they represent within the Supra ecosystem as well. So that will go live today, probably shortly after the SUP. So just be ready for the announcement. I'll make a post. I'll ping everybody.
Come on, baby. If you're not following Chase Supra, by the way, folks, you're missing out. That's all I can say. And that goes for his Instagram as well. I don't know if that's public, but find him on Instagram.
It's not public.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But on X, you can DM him and ask him for his Instagram handle. On X, he is Chase Supra. Right, Braden, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about here this evening or this morning, wherever you may be in the world. I think for you, it's 25 past 11 p.m. So thank you for making the time.
Wow. Dude, thank you so much. I didn't know it was so late for you.
Yeah, I'm in Singapore. Yeah, I usually work.
Wow.
I work quite late, so I'm usually always up at this time anyways.
What a man.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I'm not knowing I'm like keeping you from your bed.
Have you, by the way, I mean, quick sidetrack here, and Chase and I are the kings of sidetracks. Have you met up with Lou yet? Lou is our creative director at Supra. She's also in Singapore.
Yeah, I've been traveling recently. I've been messaging her separately, so we will meet up at some point. We haven't yet.
Dude, Lou's the best. Shout out to Lou. We love Lou.
Shout out Lou.
She's the coolest, dude.
She gives me grief all the time in our meetings. So Braden, I want to know from you, sir, what is the current lay of the land in crypto AI? We've obviously heard of some work being done on Solana. Obviously, Solana being a very popular L1, a lot of people are trying to build AI agents on Solana. I know Napoon has been experimenting. Napoon, the man behind the scenes today, he's been experimenting a little bit with some of their AI agents and scripts that he could run. Base, are they building anything? There's obviously Near Protocol. They're positioning themselves as an AI platform. What do you make of the current crypto AI space? What's the lay of the land?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of networks, I mean, Base included, they're building these agent kits that basically allow developers to start interacting with their networks through an LLM, which is pretty cool. I think Aptos has one, Base has one. I'm sure some of these other networks have them as well. I'm not as familiar with Near as I am with the other networks. I'd say one of the interesting protocols that have come out recently is it's called Hey Anon. It's on Sonic, I think, primarily, but they're basically an agent. And it actually works for some cross-chain interactions. I haven't actually used it myself. I've just been following the project a bit and just getting a better understanding of how it works. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's AI initiatives happening kind of everywhere in the space right now, both being supported by the foundations and also just regular developers building these things out. So it's pretty exciting. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, that is super exciting. And speaking of kind of the lay of the land, would you agree that AI agents are the ChatGPT moment for crypto? Like, is this that moment for crypto to where it kind of it changes the game for the layman? Like for let's say somebody that's not like a daily trader but starting wants to get involved. Like, is this that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say now, no. Like, I think it will be. I think AI agents will be that moment for crypto. I just don't think we're there yet. I think it's still a bit early on the agent side. Most agents that I've seen are mainly just for reading data and accessing data, but we haven't really got to the point where we have agents that are actually executing transactions for users or helping guide them through some of these more complicated UX flows that we have in crypto. I mean, crypto is notorious for bad UX, right? For
Yeah,
onboarding users, getting them
absolutely.
across ecosystems. And that's where I think AI agents could really help. And we haven't really seen that yet. So I think AI agents will be that moment for crypto, just not where they're currently at today.
What do you think the time frame on something like that is? Like, it moves so fast, right? It's like, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess there's really no way to tell, but if you were to give an estimate, like when do you see that actually being plausible?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this year, I think there'll be pretty good agents that are capable of doing a lot of this stuff, and then they'll just evolve and grow from there. But I think this year we're going to start seeing a lot of this stuff actually working multi-chain, and having users, streamline UX, across protocols, across ecosystems, across networks. So hopefully, yeah, within the year.
Here we go, baby. It's time.
It is time. This is the moment. It's interesting. I mean, look, I know I was the guy that wrote that question, but I do kind of feel like the Chat GPT moment will be when an AI agent is able to make a mass group of people rich. To be honest, it's going to be
So
something
wait,
like that. Like everyone's
like,
using this AI agent. All of their portfolios have gone up, and they're like, "This is the AI agent you should be using." I
right.
think that's going to be the Chat GPT moment. And I mean, personally, I've been following AI since I think I first heard about ChatGPT 2017, and then it really went mainstream when ChatGPT 3.5 came out, which is 2022, 23.
Mhm.
So I think we are a couple of years out. So I agree with you. I agree with you, Braden. Um, I'm curious about SuperStack. How does SuperStack facilitate the best execution for AI agents?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question because, I mean, obviously any chain can launch agents, and there will be agents across every network. I think for Supra, the most interesting parts are the native automation and also the Oracle feeds, both of those things. I think it's important because it helps reduce error rates of AI agents, especially if they're interacting with an automation contract, right? There's certain thresholds and parameters that you can set as a user to lower your risk and also lower the risk of an agent doing something it shouldn't. So I think Super is in a unique position compared to a lot of these other networks just because of the native components it has on its network. That will be very favorable, I think, on the AI side.
Yeah, man. I'm just sitting here thinking about what AI is going to change my life over the next 2 years. I'm blowing my own mind, actually.
Do you Man's trying to think what he's going to do for the rest of his
life.
Like,
I'm like,
how am I going to make money?
Where am I going? What am I going to do after
Time
this?
to be a founder, sir. Time to be a founder.
Do you think the future of crypto trading is going to agent versus agent? Like, do you think we'll have agents battling it out, like in the trading?
I mean, maybe.
Right?
I think right now it already basically is like retail versus agent. Like if you look at most market makers, most trading firms, they're already trading algorithmically anyways. So it really is just user versus agent right now. I think at some point there will be a lot of AI agent trading strategies, and a lot of on-chain and even centralized exchange trading could go through agents. I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where it's fully agent versus agent. But I'd say that agents are probably in a better position to trade, hopefully profitably, compared to just a normal person.
Any agent's better than your boy over here, so I'll take any of the help I could get.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, folks. It's Chase's Losses. Welcome to another episode of Chase's Losses.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn this into Chase's gains, brother. Hold on, man.
Well,
I'm trying to turn my life around.
That's why we acquired OpenBlocks, so that we can get you some profits, brother. Man, there's so much to dive into here, and I don't want to get too distracted. Brayden, what really matters for a good AI agent? Like, what are the key protocols? What are the key tech stacks that AI agents need to be good in Web3?
Yeah, I mean, they need data, right? Like even outside of crypto, like any agent needs data to be good, to be efficient. And so I'd say in crypto, it's the exact same problem. I think crypto is in a unique position because you have all these different ecosystems and you have segregation of liquidity, segregation of dApps. And what that basically means is you have several different decentralized exchanges on the same network, right? And there's so many things happening in crypto across all these networks that agents need to be capable of understanding multi-chain data. If an agent is only operating on one chain, it could probably do a good job for the user, but a lot of the times there's better liquidity, better prices, better yield if you're splitting assets and splitting strategies between networks as well. And again, that's where I think Supra could be very interesting in that proposition, especially if you're looking at SupraNova and cross-chain messaging. A lot of these things could be automated as well for the user. But to answer the question, I'd just say that the agent would have to have multi-chain data and have to understand multi-chain strategies as well.
Yeah, and speaking of SupraNova, actually, when do you think we will start seeing like AI agents operating cross-chain?
Like with Supra or just in general?
In general, or let's say both.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I think really good agents that will work cross-chain will probably happen this year. Like I don't know actual timelines. I think that you'll start seeing some agents coming out that could read data properly, multi-chain sooner than writing. I think when you're looking at writing data and actually crafting transactions and executing for the user, that takes much longer because there's way more risk than just providing them data like questions. So yeah, I mean, I think this stuff will come soon, but the writing of data will definitely take more time.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of to touch back on that again, where exactly does OpenBlocks fit in to Supra's AI offering?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. So Blockpour previously, Blockpour as a company was a data analytics company. Like that's what we were. We weren't focused on AI. We weren't an exchange. We didn't have a token. We were just a data analytics company that provided data to applications and to companies in crypto and also outside of crypto. And so a lot of the power of Blockpour was in its data set. So Blockpour has had 10 networks. We have full archive index data, which OpenBlocks now has access to. And so I think OpenBlocks fits into Supra with the data that we have, and we can actually build agents capable of multi-chain execution, multi-chain liquidity routing, both on the AI agent and also just as separate applications or utilities. So I'd say it's mainly the data that we're bringing with us and our indexing capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And the data is the most valuable part. I mean, right? Always. And it has to be.
It's a bit ironic because we're in crypto where everything's open, like data's open.
Yeah, right.
Like we're in a space where data is actually just anybody can access it. But it's difficult to index some of this data. And I mean, there's been tons of companies that exist in crypto that do a good job of this and of showing and displaying data. But I think if you're trying to build and train an agent, that's where you actually need this data in a format that's indexed and can actually be readable, by models and by these things.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, I want to act like I understand all of that. Right. But I'm so surface level on most of the AI stuff that I use it for very remedial things. Hey, what can I cook for dinner today? You know what I mean? Hey, what will my kids eat that I can cook for dinner today? It's like chicken nuggets and French fries, brother, mac and cheese, whatever, and it works for me in the way that I need it to. So yeah, that's about as far as I go. But once the doors do open and things start getting weird within crypto and trading, you better believe your boy's going all full degen, baby.
Well, that's actually what I'm worried about, Chase. Like, that's actually a good point. Like, I'm worried. I'm worried about when the real money gets here, right? Like when our wallets are connected to an AI agent, you know, all of a sudden, you know, the AI agent makes you a bit of yield here, bit of profit there. All of a sudden, your little $500 experiment is like, oh, I'm going to put $5,000 into that wallet because this is going great. Braden, in your opinion, man, what should we be worried about when there's real money on the line? Because I think people need to understand, hey, there's AI agents coming. Get ready. Every protocol is going to be pushing their AI agents, and people are going to be excited to use these AI agents. But now we have real money on the line. People, and you know how degens are. It's like, I'm going to put my life savings into this thing. And what kind of trouble are we going to see? What should we be worried about? What could go wrong when there's real money on the line?
Yeah, I mean, real money on the line and trusting things in crypto is usually not ended well, especially if you're using like user deployed agents, right? Like if people are deploying their own agents, I think that's where the risk can come. I think generally, like on the agent side, I think most agents will be built by developers where they set their own parameters, right? I don't think the model will be everybody pool your assets into this contract and the agent will trade for you. I don't think that will ever really happen. It might happen for like small people or small developers building it themselves. I'm not sure we'll ever get to the point where agents will be mass trading like a hedge fund. I don't think it would really work, especially if you're dealing just on chain. So I think most agent strategies would be deployed by builders or developers, and then users would just set parameters or set thresholds or whitelist certain dApps that the agent can interact with. But I think you're right. It is scary. Like no matter how you structure it, it's still a scary thing. And so I think it's just really time, being spent on these applications and on these programs to hopefully execute things in a way that's safe for the end user, and also allowing them to understand the risks that they're taking, by using one of these things as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like being able to set a threshold and stick to it, because everybody says it's like, oh, I'm going to put $200 in crypto, and then you lose that $200 very quickly. You're like, all right, well, I'm gonna put 300 in. Okay, we were 300 turns to 600, and you're like, well, let me just add a little bit more, and then you get rugged, and then it's a tale as old as time. Okay, so yeah, but I think setting a threshold and like being smart about the money that you're putting into these, and just being like, hey, stop at this loss. When the bleeding gets to here, cut it off, send it home. It's done. But even then, you have to think about the human emotions of a win, right? A win is so much more exciting than a loss that people will chase that forever. And speaking kind of on that point, how does AI democratize money markets, or can it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends what you're defining by money markets. Like if you're talking about like treasury bills or like bank loans, I don't really know enough. But if you're, I guess, talking more so like on the crypto side of things, like trading, I'd say like crypto democratizes it by just providing more tools to people who don't have access to them previously, right? So like if you're looking at trading, complex trading strategies, or like I'd mentioned earlier, where you have market makers and prop trading firms, a lot of these companies are successful because they have access to tools that retail doesn't have access to. And so I think AI helps provide these tools to these users. So I'd say it definitely does democratize it. It just depends on which markets you're referring to. But yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. Like money markets are it's a very broad spectrum. There are so many different opportunities. There's forex, there's equities, there's indices, there's commodities, and then of course there's crypto. Does AI make those markets more accessible? I mean, the people that are watching right now, will AI agents make those markets more accessible, or for the next 2 years is this pure crypto?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will work for both sides, right? Like, I think AI agents themselves, I think they can. It's just performing actions, right? Like an agent is just programmed to perform certain actions with certain prompts or inputs, and so I don't think it's specific just to crypto. I think the difference with crypto versus traditional markets is you usually have brokerages, right? Or you have applications like Robinhood that you have to go through to execute a trade or do certain things. And so crypto, I think, has a huge advantage, especially for normal people, because you could trade and build any strategy you want on chain and start executing it, right? It's much harder to have an agent trading for you if you're trying to go through Robinhood APIs or do algorithmic trading on some of these brokerage sites. I don't even know if it would work. But on crypto, that's where these markets are basically all open, and so that's why agents make a lot more sense, at least for retail, to start interacting on the crypto side of things, especially in DeFi.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of like, I guess we are still early, especially in the AI finance side of things. But if you were like just people listening here, and if I were interested in wanting to learn more about AI finance, how does someone get in early to AI finance other than following Brayden and OpenBlocks?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say just get involved in some of these communities and some of these networks. I mean, I haven't really found any really good resources that kind of aerate this stuff because there's just too much.
Exactly.
But I'd say, yeah, I mean, just pick a network that you're comfortable with or already in, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of interesting stuff there. And just try, downloading some of these agent kits or try getting more involved. I'd say is the only real way, to stay ahead of the curve, or at least follow the progress of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it happens so fast.
Yeah.
It's so fast.
Now, Braden, we want to think about an AI agent running. And I know that obviously Blockpour and now OpenBlocks has evolved, and so there's a lot of new technology, new protocols that your team are understanding and getting to grips with. But I want to think for a second about an AI agent. Let's say we run this AI agent on Base, we run it on Solana, and we run it on Supra, the three biggest layer ones in the industry. We won't talk about Ethereum because of how slow it is. But I'm curious, from your experience, you have been indexing and scraping the data from Supra. You have experience in indexing as many blockchains as you guys technologically can. I'm curious, how do you think the experience of an AI agent on Supra would be different from the others?
Yeah, I mean, I think the experience with Supra, I mean, Supra, like I mentioned earlier with AutoFi and Oracle, Supra already is on a lot of these networks through Oracle feeds. And so I think the cross-chain messaging, if you have an agent on Supra and it's connected to these different networks, you don't necessarily need to leave Supra. So it makes the experience much more seamless than having to bridge or move across networks to do these actions. I think if you have agents running, the agent doesn't necessarily need to be tied to a specific chain either, right? Like the agent could just exist and be capable of interacting with all these different networks. But I think the part that makes Supra interesting is AutoFi and things that are native to the Supra network that other networks don't have these things native. That's where the benefits of Supra come. I don't think you're going to really have like pick a network then run your agent, although you could. Some agents could just run strategies and already have familiarity with how to interact with these networks to trade for you. But I think Supra just makes more sense as a natural fit for a lot of this stuff because of AutoFi, and because of the as well.
I mean, hello, Nipoon, write this down. We got a new catchphrase. Supra just makes more sense. Okay. Thank you, Brayden. I'll give you royalties, baby. I'll send them over to you monthly. It's great. I could not have said it better myself. Well done, my man. And finally, this is my favorite part of the show. These are our hot seat questions. These are the questions that aren't really, towards AI. This is where we get to know a little bit about you behind the veil, right?
Is
What's
the
going
money
on back
right
there?
Here. It's the money right here.
We save it at the end because everybody comes for this.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
By the way, just before you continue, Chase, just want to remind everyone real quick, Please get your questions in for Brayden. The man is experienced in data indexing. He's experiencing in blockchain. He's experienced in AI agents. And if you have questions, please post them to X. Unfortunately, we apologize. We seem to have an issue with YouTube. So if you are on X watching this right now, please get your questions into the replies. We want to get those for Brayden ASAP. Chase, sorry, sir. Back to the hot seat, bro.
No worries at all. I've probably had 15 messages on X about our YouTube not being up. They're like, no YouTube stream today. So I've just been sending people the X link. I'm sorry. I think we somehow got disconnected. We'll get it figured out for next week. Our bad.
Shout out to my South African friend, Elon Musk. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Thanks for keeping it up and running, player. Okay, so we will start with, this is my favorite question because I have a lot of these, as James previously mentioned. What is your worst crypto horror story? It could be something someone told you or something that a friend of yours happened to, but I would like to know yours if possible.
Okay.
Everybody's reaction is always the same. It's like, oh, damn it, dude.
Oh, no.
Every time. Everybody's face just goes.
I lost my net worth.
Yeah, it's like, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot. Like, I've been in crypto since 2017, so I've seen a lot. I'd say one that comes to mind is in 2019, I went to San Francisco for a hackathon, a conference. I can't remember, I think it was Blockchain Week or San Francisco Blockchain Week. And it was a pretty big conference at the time. And so I had gone there mainly for the hackathon to contribute and to hopefully, win a prize and understand some of the projects. And I had met some of these amazing teammates at the hackathon, and we formed a group. And we were building something for Aave. So Aave was one of the sponsors in 2019, and they had just come up with the concept of flash loans. And so for the hackathon, the idea was to build a proof of concept of how flash loans could be used. And so we had built this riskless arbitrage program using flash loans, and we ended up winning the hackathon for Aave. And I believe they offered to pay in either Aave or USDT, whatever it was. I had received USDT from my prize, but I had always planned on buying Aave right after because I liked what they were building. Like the concept of flash loans, working with their team, meeting Stani. I loved the project. It's just I never got around to actually converting the USDT to Aave. And at the time, Aave wasn't even called Aave. It was called ETH Lend. It was a different project. So this is way back. Anyways, the token went, I don't even know how many % up, but it's too many zeros after. And my biggest regret, probably one of the bigger ones, is not taking Aave from the hackathon or not converting my stables to Aave after the hackathon. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not as spicy of a story, but it's more of a just a small regret. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have those too, man. But I mean, it's like, is it ever something you think about, or do you like check the price and go, damn it? Ever?
I only think about it when people post
when I bring it up.
That Aave's at a new all-time high, and I look and it's like 1,000, 2,000 times higher than it was.
Oh, dude, we all have those, man.
We all have them, man.
Yeah. We all have those. I mean, I'll be honest with you. With all of our sort of scoping around the general Web3 industry, I've actually forgotten about Aave. Actually, to be honest, so it's it's old news, bro. Forget about that. It's in the past.
The other really short story is I actually had a lot of Doge on Cryptopia. Which was an exchange.
Doge.
Doge.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cryptopia, but it was an exchange years ago.
In New Zealand, right?
Yeah, New Zealand, yeah. So I had a lot.
I traded on Cryptopia. Yeah. Yes, sir. I had Monk on Cryptopia. Yeah. But continue with your Cryptopia story.
Yeah, so I think I donated a lot to their liquidation fund. Because I just didn't make a claim. It was probably dust, but then because I use software for computing tax, and there was a huge thing for Doge on Cryptopia, and I realized it was gone because they already got liquidated and everything. But yeah, I had a lot of Doge on Cryptopia, and at the time it wasn't worth much. But again, it's one of those things where dust becomes worth a lot over time. Yeah.
Sorry, sir, but you have to give us numbers. How many Doge do you estimate that you had?
I think it was very high six figures, probably.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay, what is the price of Doge right now, people? Come on, someone pull up the Supra Oracle.
No,
What is the price
that would
of
have been the
Doge?
price of Doge. That would have been the price of Doge, like around.
Oh, you mean 6 figures
Oh.
now?
Yeah, if I kept it. Yeah.
Goodness.
I just have to say real quick, I always get confused between 6 figures. Is it the zeros only, or is it the one before?
No, 6 figures.
Like
The highest 6 figures could go is $999,999. That's 6 figures.
Okay,
Anything over that
that's fair enough. I mean,
I mean,
I
that's
would
$1 million.
literally, I would be
Change my
scarred
life.
on my face.
Change
I would be
my
scarred on my
life right
face because
now.
I would have been like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay that much for the tokens, right? So like my actual loss isn't that bad, but yeah, it's
just like what it's worth now.
It's
is
sad.
crazy.
It's sad. Yeah.
I treat it as a
I mean,
public
I had about $1,000 on FTX, and I kept getting all the emails from their liquidation partners and their attorneys and their auditors, and I just didn't finalize the claim. So that's $1,000 gone. But
Did you not get
it's
it?
not like 6 figures. I haven't. I think there was one final step I had to make, and I was like,
I had a
I'm too
buddy
busy.
that
I'm
lost
too busy for this.
$60K. I had a buddy that lost $60K in FTX, and he got it back like 3 weeks ago. He got it back, but he was out of $60K for like 4 years, however long it's been.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah,
good times. Cryptopia.
Yeah, I think FTX is still processing some withdrawals as well. I'm not sure where they're at with it, but yeah.
Okay, I know we're over time, but last week we spoke about Bybit. I have to ask you this. So FTX brought out tokenized stocks, right? And Chase and I were talking about it. Whoa, FTX was amazing back in the day. And then, wow, that surprised everyone. You don't think Bybit could go the same way? Do you think Bybit are the real deal?
I mean, I don't have much of an opinion on some of these centralized exchanges. I think Bybit and Binance are some of the biggest exchanges. Same with Coinbase. I'd say those three are probably the biggest. But I don't have much of an opinion on particular exchanges themselves. We track movement of funds through Blockpour, through OpenBlocks for these exchanges. But in terms of like, the safety of them, I'd bucket them all together. Like I think centralized exchanges just have inherent risks that DeFi doesn't. I don't know how much more risky one platform is than the other. It's just they all inherit the same category of risks. Yeah.
All right. That's a very, very diplomatic answer. Well played. Right. Braden, what did you do before crypto?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got into crypto like end of 2016, so very early 2017. I was still in university when I had got into crypto, so I've been basically working full-time in the industry since then. But pre-COVID, I think in 2020, I was working at a startup called Zendit. So they're a Southeast Asian payment infrastructure platform startup. So I was working there for a while from the Philippines. And it was more on like the traditional payment rails, still digital payments, just not specifically focused on crypto. So I'd say that's the only non-crypto thing I've done for work, but I've always been in a startup basically. So every place I've worked has been a startup. And Zendit was the only one that wasn't specific to crypto.
Braden built different. Okay. This guy built in the trenches, baby. Dude, crazy. I love that though. We had the founder of Crystara, we had him on. We've had him a couple times on, but we asked him kind of a similar question. What did you do before crypto? And he's like, I've never had another job. He's like 22. I'm like, oh, damn it.
He's like,
I'm so old.
I was in diapers, bruh.
Shout out to Crystara. We love them over there.
Brayden, I'm going to jump in real quick, Chase. Sorry, I know it's your question.
No, I don't care. Hey,
I actually want to ask, can OpenBlocks track NFTs as well, or is it purely transactional stuff between various protocols and tokens only, or can you track NFTs, NFT values, NFT trades, etc. as well?
Yeah, we can capture NFTs as well. So on our EVM networks, we support NFTs, like all standards of NFTs, including marketplace sales, all that stuff. For Supra, we're looking at expanding the indexing currently. So we're working right now on supporting decentralized exchanges on Supra. So you'd be able to see swaps, liquidity pools, and then also supporting different event types, and NFTs would be part of that. So we don't support it today, but we will be very, very soon.
Oh, that's exciting, man. Big NFT guy. So that greases my gears, for lack of better term. Okay, so
and also I do want to mention for our viewers, because we have a couple of thousand, quick mention for our viewers. The reason why I brought that question up is because of course Crystara is an NFT protocol. So that's why I brought that question up. Chase, back to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so another question we always like to ask. Crypto crashes tomorrow. We kind of discussed this earlier a little bit about the AI. If it crashes tomorrow and it's no mas, finito, what's our plan B, baby? What are we doing, Brayden? What's your plan B? I'm asking you this because I'm going to follow your path.
Yeah, that's a personal question, right? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I mean, if crypto crashed, I mean, I think like my instinctive answer is to build, right? I mean, that's the time to build, but I know that's not what you're asking. So like if crypto didn't exist, I mean, I've always found an interest in social networks. So maybe getting involved in some type of startup or doing AI stuff, one or the other. But if crypto was still around and just crashed, I would definitely stay in crypto. Yeah.
Very cool answer. I mean, that's a real builder. And
that's a real builder.
That's a real builder right there. And I know our founders, that's clearly why they were like, Brayden, we need what you have. So the acquisition becomes clearer as we get to know you, sir.
There's a lot less distractions in bear markets as well in crypto, which I actually enjoy as a builder. It's just a lot easier to actually build things instead of having distractions every single day of new things launching, new protocols. So I actually prefer building in bear markets anyways. But, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here first. Braden's praying for our downfall, ladies and gentlemen.
Watch out for your X profile. Watch out for your X profile, Brayden. Good luck, sir. That's all I can say.
We'll have a lot of features. We'll have a lot of features for
OpenBlocks. Hey, it's going to be great. But just hold on.
Man. Okay, so we've spoken about our founders and your acquisition. Now give me one person, anyone in crypto, could be even if they have passed on. Who is the one person in crypto that you would love to have dinner with? And what is the first question that you'd ask them?
There's a lot. One that comes to mind, because I was watching a podcast with him recently, is Hasib from Dragonfly Capital. It's a VC. Right. So Hasib is the founder, managing partner of Dragonfly. He's active on X as well. But he has very interesting takes. As an investor himself, he has really good thought out thesis on investments and on protocols, on projects. So I just enjoy listening to his thoughts on podcasts, and also he posts some of them on X as well. So I think he'd be very interesting to chat with. I don't know exactly what I'd ask him. Probably just some questions about how he evaluates projects, things like that. I think could be interesting. But yeah.
No, so you can't dodge that. He can't dodge that. I mean, you held 6 figures worth of Doge, so you cannot Doge this question. Imagine yourself sitting with him. You're at dinner. You've said hello. You've ordered your glass of wine, whatever it may be. What is the first question? So, what is your first question?
I would ask him where he sees probably AI going in crypto in the next couple of years. Like, he's very good at forward thinking. As an investor, you have to be. So I think anything related to what he sees parts of the industry looking like, I would ask. Maybe not specifically AI, but something around that. Yeah.
I love that answer.
That's a great answer. Nice.
Yeah. Thanks, James. You had to pull it out of you. Get over here. Yeah. All right. So next question. What do we, in your opinion, right? Because everybody has a different opinion on this and a take on this, but what do we need in crypto or Web3 that we do not have today, or that is not possible today, that you would like to see be possible?
Yeah, I mean, like my answer for this is always going to be something related to UX or liquidity fragmentation. It always has been. I think specifically on the onboarding side, like centralized exchanges have always inherited the responsibility of bringing people into crypto, right? The first point of contact for almost everybody is a Coinbase or is Binance or is Bybit, which is fine. But I think when you look at some of these apps, like on Solana, like Pump Fun, whether or not that's a good platform is up for debate. Like when it comes to value extraction versus value add, it's probably leaning heavily towards one way. That's not the point I'm trying to make. There's applications that are allowing users to actually get involved in these ecosystems, like launching a token. With Moonshot, it's bringing people into these ecosystems, not through a centralized exchange. And so that's a bad example. But the point is, more applications that allow users to get involved in crypto, I think, is important. More avenues to onboard users into crypto. And then how do you get them to actually do things on these networks when they come in? Because right now, I think a lot of users will come to crypto to buy a certain meme coin. They hold the meme coin, they sell, they off-ramp, right? In a lot of these cases. And so how do you actually keep them involved? And I think AI agents could actually play a role, because it's a very easy step to get somebody to do something they're already familiar with, like a ChatGPT, if they're curious about exploring opportunities. So I think just helping with the UX and the UI of crypto is probably the biggest thing that's still missing, and it will just keep improving over time.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Thinking about, so I randomly went into my wallet the other day to look into tokens that I've randomly invested in.
Which wallet?
Years ago, my Ethereum wallet. Years ago.
MetaMask.
Yeah, my MetaMask. This was years ago. I wasn't going to say it, but thank you, James.
I mean, it's Ethereum, bro. I know that Starkey supports Ethereum, but let's be honest, bro.
Yes, exactly. So I'm looking through my wallet, just like old tokens I had bought into. So ones I see Robot, Turbo, Wojak, Generational Wealth that I still hold about 5 billion worth of. So I randomly got on like 2 weeks ago.
Any of those tokens.
Okay, me neither. I forgot about this. These are years old. And so I look at my Wojak. Here's were $750. I was like, whoa. I'm not going to get too excited. Let me try to pull these funds out. Anyways, long story short, I pulled the funds out. So we were talking about dust turning into something, baby. We did it. We did it.
Boom. That explains your Instagram. So. Okay, Brayden, this is the biggest challenge you are going to face on this show. We are over time, and I know you need to go to bed. It's now midnight for you, 3 minutes past midnight. So it's 3 minutes into Thursday, 15 May for you. This is a tough one. Chase is going to get out the timer. If you had to explain Web3 to your grandma in 10 seconds, how would you do it? Chase is going to put out the
you
timer.
can think about
10
this.
seconds.
Okay,
no one.
We'll give you like a couple. We'll give you. Unless are you ready to run this?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't no matter what. In 10 seconds.
We usually give people like a couple minutes, or like at least a minute to like kind of get their brain together. Like, okay, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. What are my buzzwords that I need to get together?
I ask questions about this grandma? Do I just?
Yes. You could ask. Wait, you can ask one question about grandma. Go.
No, I'll make this more generalized. I'll give it to everybody. Okay. Okay, I think I'm ready. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Whenever
he's
you
ready
start talking,
already. Here we go.
Whenever you start talking, I'm going to press start.
Digital money with no intermediaries, backed by cryptography.
Whoa!
That is the best answer we've ever had. Oh my goodness! What just happened? What? That is the best answer we have ever had.
All right, boys.
What?
I mean,
lock it in.
I mean, it's not a good explanation, but it opens up a conversation with the grandma, right? That's how you.
Yes,
bro.
All right, boys.
We are flawed, bro. World record right there, 3.7 seconds, Brayden.
Less than 4 seconds. Whoever we have next week, you got to explain it under 5.
Oh my!
Yeah, you guys are way too generous.
No joke,
bro.
And usually, and I'm not lying to you. Usually, when we ask that question, they're like, "How long do I have to like think about this?" We're like, "Yeah, take a minute or so," and then they'll start talking. And usually, people just stop talking about 5 or 6 seconds in because they like can't get off of it.
Brayden's just like, "I'm ready." Brayden's like, "I'm ready." What?
He's like, "Let me get a question about the grandma." Actually, doesn't even matter about the grandma. I'm ready to run this.
How does this man operate 5 minutes past midnight and this guy's operating? Bro,
I mean,
What?
I
Can
don't
you
fully agree with the digital money part, but I mean, it's an easy
It's the
execution.
easiest way. Yeah.
Wait a second. Wait a second. I know we're over time here. What do you mean you don't agree with the digital money part? What do you mean by that?
I mean, like parts of it, like parts. If you're trying to explain crypto as a whole, I think it's much more than just digital money. Like there's like financial instruments, right? Like there's yield. Like there's so much more than just trying to treat it as money. And a lot of crypto can't really be treated as money because the prices are way too volatile. Like you can't have a currency that goes up 1,000% in a day and then it's worth nothing the next day. So I don't think the definition of money doesn't make sense for a lot of cryptos, I don't think. But anyways, yeah.
Whoa, like I feel like we could go on forever on this very question. Napoon, backstage, please, sir, take notes for next week because that's what Satoshi wrote about, though. He wrote about digital money. That's what the entire thesis of this industry was based on, is digital money. So that's really interesting because I understand exactly what you mean. Money can't be so volatile. But having said that, Tether came along, introduced USDT, changed the game completely, and all of a sudden we had stable coins. Man, wow. You just blew my mind in 2 moments right there. Whoa.
In less than 4 seconds, brother.
Bro. Wow. Okay. We need to get to audience questions.
Yeah, we got out of here. I know he's got way more important stuff than to.
You need to sleep because you need to work tomorrow. Chase, what is the first audience question, sir?
Oh yeah. So audience question. Let's see I'm trying to find whom this is from. This is from Supra, like Tomater. What is the first blockchain tech that blew your mind? And you've been around for a long time.
Yeah, and we apologize. Sorry, just real quick for that line in the bottom that was copy and pasted. So Superpeter can't spell blue. He wrote it out as blowed. So we apologize for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer for this is Ethereum. When I had first got into crypto, it was mainly like Bitcoin and some of these other, like miscellaneous currencies, and they were all basically forks of Bitcoin. But I think with Ethereum, like actually building applications and the EVM was definitely the biggest thing. Yeah. So I'd say the EVM for me.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, especially for you being, on your side of things.
All right, well, I think that's where we're going to leave it. I'm just looking through some of the questions here.
I was trying to find a couple too. There's just like a lot of people are just throwing you flowers, my man. And then we also just have a lot of people agreeing with what you're talking about. Nobody has questions because you know your shit. There's no reason to give you questions. Yep. You're talking incredible knowledge and giving people incredible information here.
Yep. Braden, any final comments, man, for the audience? We have a very wide super community watching right now. What do you want to say to them? What's the plan for OpenBlocks.ai? What do you guys anticipate being in a year's time? Give us the vision, give us the mission for our audience watching right now.
Yeah, so I'd say for OpenBlocks, I mean, the goal for us right now is building agents that are capable of executing cross-chain actions. And this would obviously include the Supra network as well. We also plan to dive a lot deeper into our dashboarding of the Supra ecosystem to help allow users to find new dApps on Supra, interact with protocols, see activity. So there's a lot of work we're doing just on the dashboarding. But then the bulk of our work is mainly on the AI agent stuff, which is much more interesting when it comes to like cross-chain execution logic, cross-chain liquidity routing. And I guess another point I'll make is there's a lot of really exciting initiatives going on right now, both internally at Supra and also at OpenBlocks, where we're both, jointly working on AI stuff together, which is super exciting. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that will come out. Don't know timelines, but there's a lot of exciting stuff being worked on right now across the board, not just for OpenBlocks, but also exciting stuff at Supra as well. So I think there's some really cool stuff coming.
You see what he did there?
And
didn't give you a timeline. He's a veteran, dude. He's like, oh, you want a date?
You ain't getting no date, bro. But I do want to, Braden, I do want to know real quick, are you going to permissionless?
I don't think so. No, I've been traveling a lot right now.
Oh,
For work.
man. Come
I'm
on,
gonna
bro.
be staying in Singapore. Yeah.
I was about to say, bro, let's get dinner. Let's meet up. Let's have some fun. But maybe
Chase and
not.
I are gonna be in New York City, bro. Come on, man. We gotta do a sup.
In New
If you
York.
I tell you this. 5,000 people watch this sup every week. If
Correct.
you come to Permissionless, we will get you on that week's episode.
Hmm.
And
We'll do
I'm
it
not sure
live
if I
from
have
New
the
York.
power. I'm not sure if I have the power to make that call, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Come on, be there, brother.
I'll take a look. I'll see. I'll let you guys know.
put him on the hot seat.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you so much for watching. This has been such a great episode. Always is with Brayden. This is now the third time you've been on Supra's YouTube channel because, of course, this recording will go to YouTube later. You were interviewed at Korea Blockchain Week. That was the first time I met you, sir. Brayden, thank you so much. This has been such a fantastic episode. Chase, any final comments from you, sir?
I'm bullish on Braden, baby. That's all I gotta say. I'm bullish on Braden.
Braden token, put it on. Put it on Braden token.
Oh, dude, somebody's launching that in the next 10 minutes. You should not have said
Yes,
that.
sir. Braden token on Pump It. What is Supra's meme
Pump
coin
It.
platform? Is pumpit.pro.
Yeah.
Pumpit.pro.
That was bad news, dude. By the way, we did not create this coin. NFA, do your own research.
Yeah.
Not financial advice.
Bro,
Okay?
that's
We did
why
not create this coin.
that's why I'm in South Africa. Here in Africa, we can do what we want. Pumpit.pro. Go check it out. Braden, thank you, sir. You have been such a fantastic guest, as always. Guys, we'll catch you in the next episode. Napoon backstage, thank you for holding the fort while Hoyt is away. Chaser, I will see you on Instagram. And folks, until next time, catch us next week, same time, same place, 3 p.m. UTC every Wednesday, right here on Supra_Labs. Until next time, this is James, Chase, and Brayden saying sup.
Sup, baby?
Yes.